Welcome. This is the Radius interview series, and we have Jon Dario here from Edison Properties. He's Chief Operating Officer. Jon, thank you for being here.
Of course, thank you for having me.
We're going to have a fun 5-hour interview today. You ready for
it?
A
little shorter, hopefully.
We're going to talk about everything. Edison Properties, why don't you tell us a little bit about the history?
Sure. Well, Edison Properties started in 1955. Jerry Gottesman and his brother Harold began it as a parking business. In 1978, Jerry was visiting North Carolina, and he saw a self-storage facility in North Carolina, and he was intrigued. He had never seen one, and he went up and asked if he could see one of the units. And the owner of the facility told him that he would love to show him a unit, but they were all rented. And immediately Jerry's brain switched into business mode, and the rest is Manhattan Mini Storage history.
Well, tell us what's unique about Manhattan Mini.
Sure.
I know the marketing certainly is.
The marketing has a rich history. Because we're focused only on Manhattan, we can be a truly New York-centric brand, and we can have a truly New York-centric attitude, and we can really identify with New Yorkers, and we're, because of that New York centricity, we're able to offer special things like our free storage shuttle service, which recognizes that a lot of New Yorkers don't have cars, and even if they did have cars, it's not so easy to drive around Manhattan just to get to your storage unit. So we offer the free storage shuttle, which is a very unique offering. We focus really on building long-term relationships, and as a result, our customer base is significantly more slanted towards long-term customers than most self-storage operators experience. And we pride ourselves on being able to find any solution for any customer, and as a result, we've jumped into the on-demand storage business, but not the way that most on-demand operators run it. We actually store through the on-demand use. We store right in our self-storage buildings,
okay.
And that enables customers to have the convenience of on-demand. We come and pick up their property and take it to storage and deliver back to them.
So like the valet service.
Like the valet service, but because it's in our buildings right in Manhattan, they can also show up at the desk and ask for items to be retrieved. So it's really the best of both worlds.
So I have to ask, as a Buffalo girl, I would typically drive up to my unit and roll up the door myself, or go to a climate-controlled building.
Yep.
How does it work in Manhattan?
Yeah, if you drove up to your storage unit in one of the Manhattan Mini Storage locations, you'd probably be talking to the police pretty quickly, because all of our buildings are indoors, and they're multi-story buildings. Every customer is granted an access card. They use the access card to get into the elevator and to get onto the storage floor. And we certainly there's some units that are closer to the elevator and so on, and those we consider premium units, and customers who wish to not have to walk to the back corner of their storage, the storage floor, are generally willing to pay a little bit more for that closer storage unit.
Okay, well, talk to us a little bit about your role in the organization.
Yeah, so I started with Manhattan Mini Storage as the president of the business, and have since moved on to a bit broader role within the organization, but still have responsibility for overseeing the mini storage business. We have a great marketing team, but obviously, as operators, we work with the marketing team to make sure that we're doing our best to get the word out and keeping the Manhattan Mini Storage brand alive and fresh.
And I'm seeing this a lot more, especially when we're talking about education at the national conferences. Marketing, branding is becoming so much more significant, but it seems like that's always been the case for you guys. And what was the methodology, or how do you explain allocating the resources for it?
Yeah. Look, it's becoming more and more important as more and more storage facilities pop onto the scene. One of the things that was always great for us is we've got these huge buildings in very visible spots, and just having a blank brick building seems like a waste. So putting up some great billboards with catchy messages was a great way to really start gaining market awareness and start building brand awareness. And of course, that as the digital age came upon us, turning that into good social media campaigns and good video content and so on was kind of the next progression. And the more we're able to drive good brand awareness and we get people to visit our site, for instance, without going through Google, then that's a good justification for spending on marketing resources rather than just giving it all to the paid search guys.
And so, resources. We talked about your role in the organization, but as a company, what are the resources you feel you need to run a successful self-storage operation?
There's a lot of resources, but I got to tell you, the number one resource is people. And not just people, good people. Sure, you need a good website. You need you need good technology, and that's all important. But without good people, things fall apart pretty quickly.
Well, speaking of training and people, that's your background and what you do also. What are the different ways that you train and help your people grow in their positions? Yeah,
a lot of it boils down to just everyday good management, and we have a lot of operational resources that explain to everybody exactly what's expected of them and explain to people exactly how to do their jobs. And I think I have a philosophy that most people don't wake up in the morning and try and be bad at their job. Most people want to succeed. We have an extremely detailed training plan for new hires. They come on board, and there's a 6-week prescribed program where they go through every step of everything they would have to do in order to perform their job properly, and they do that alongside a buddy, and then there's 3 months worth of continuing education after that. We also have a leadership development program that has a leadership skills assessment process at the start of it.
If you had a crystal ball and you could predict what the next 5 years look like for the industry or the business, what does that look like for you?
That's really it's a hard question. I think most people in the industry would probably answer that question from the standpoint of facility growth and so on. That's not my bag. I think that comes full circle to the idea of developing people. I think that's ultimately the link that brings it all together. The only way to be special is to have special people, and the only way to have special people is to find them and motivate them and teach them. That's my passion. I take everything that I've learned through what's been a very fortunate career, and try and turn that into leadership lessons and management lessons, and I believe that's how companies really become great, is by helping their people become successful and executing well. I will tell you the one thing that has been a pleasant surprise that I had no expectation for was the amount of camaraderie in the industry and the amount of sharing of information. And in my past worlds, there would have been absolutely nothing like an industry conference where you get together and talk about, share information about your business, with others. And there's so much of that in this industry. And I think the associations, the SSA and the state associations are just fantastic at providing platforms for people to do that. And I think it's just a brilliant way to for the whole industry to grow and to help each other. And even to the point of coming here today and seeing, getting a demonstration of the Radius product as an example, just something that is, I think, a fantastic tool, and just the fact that
Union Real Time was willing to expose that to me. Like, that's not something that happens in a lot of industries, and so that was a very pleasant surprise. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for your time, John. We really
Of course.
appreciate it, and we look forward to seeing you again soon.
Absolutely, thank you.
Thank you.